2015 back to 2010 Lakewood.
Yeah, man.
Or when I was coaching.
Well, yeah, you did. Didn't you do like a bounce back as a player?
13 moves, man, that year.
Crazy.
And then, so 13 moves, and then ended up staying with Reading the last month. And then started coaching 2012.
I think you guys ended up playing here to like wrap up or late in that season for Reading.
No, we ended in Altoona.
I just mean like down the stretch.
Yes.
I might have seen you even play here.
Right. Yeah.
In addition
Probably.
to Lakewood.
Absolutely.
So what? Just talk about that. You were playing.
Yep.
Coaching, and then they had a void and needed you.
No. Okay. So what happened was out of spring training, the Phillies front office presented an idea. They're like, we want to keep you around, but we just don't have a spot. So they kind of used me. They said kind of like a player coach, but I was still under a player contract. But it wasn't in any means turning over and looking more at the coaching side. It was just kind of more of a technicality. So I started the year off in Low A with the Lakewood team, and we started the season on the road in Asheville and then ended up in Hagerstown. Then J-Roll pulls his calf or gets hurt. Then there was a trickle-up effect. So then they activated me to go from Lakewood, and I joined the Reading team that year. Met them in actually Harrisburg, and I actually got to face Strasburg that time. That was like second or third start of the year. So, but that just started the pinball machine as far as me traveling in 13 different stops by the end of the year, and ended up my last month at least. They told me that, hey, you're probably not going to go anywhere, so you end up staying in Reading, and that's what I did. Finished up the team that year in Reading.
Do you look at that year, all the craziness, with any fondness, or is that like a little bit of a headache?
I looked at it, for me, because I was playing independent ball for 2 years. One, it was a way to get back in the game. I just wanted another opportunity. 1 year old, still had the drive, still had the love to keep playing. Didn't know where it was going to lead me, but I knew my situation going into the season. And if I didn't want to be that guy, or if that wasn't the thing that was going to allow me to keep playing, then I would have just stopped. I would have said, hey, I'm going to stop. I'll just move on. I'll go back to school or get into coaching. But they kind of knew it. They knew, or I shouldn't say they knew. They had an idea what it might have been like. They didn't know it was going to be that many moves. Obviously, I didn't know.
Sure.
But the Phillies, they took care of me, and they just said, hey, wherever you go, just stay in a hotel. We'll take care of it. Because usually you get 3 days in one place, and then you got to move out. But they were gracious enough to, because of what I was doing for them. The flip side of it, they said, hey, just if you go to this place, stay in a hotel. If you go to this place, stay in a hotel, and then they took care of it. So I tell you what, though, that year went by really fast because of all the moves. And I literally just lived out of my two suitcases. And then, but the guys and the coaches were really receptive to everything. They made me feel right at home, so that made the transition a lot easier.
Does that experience make you or help you be more relatable to a guy that now you're a leader and a coach for?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been through, I'd like to say I've been through almost it all, ups and downs, the highs and lows, other than playing the big leagues, but at least from a minor league standpoint, been on the Phantom before, played in AAA with 3 different organizations, played with great players, played against a lot of great players. So I think my experience definitely helps enable me to coach and be that much better, help coach these players up. Like I said, there's almost every, especially from an emotional standpoint, almost every emotional feeling that you could probably have in this game, I've probably gone through at some point. And, but that just came with maturity over time. As a 21-year-old kid, I didn't know how to deal with adversity. But as I got older and started just trying to slow things down and understand that there's things that were not in my control, that I can only control what happens when I get to the field, my attitude and my effort, day in and day out. And that's what I try to preach to these guys is, hey, there's only so many things you can't control. What are you going to do that day? How are you going to get better? Talk about championship review, championship preparation, championship execution, and that's where as a standard for us as an organization, and now it's us coaches filtering out to our players.
Are there guys that you played with or against that you either stay in touch with willfully or run into coaching with other teams?
Totally. There's a handful of guys that I stay close in touch with, guys like Carlos Quentin, Scott Harrison that I played with, Xavier Nady. And then I've run around and come across like somebody like who's Josh Bard, who's now your guys' big league bench coach, or who's not your big league bench coach, but who's the Yankees, the Yankees bench coach. Shelly Duncan's a close friend of mine that we played in college together.
Miss that guy.
And now he's managing and he's doing well in Double-A with the Diamondbacks. But the longer you stay in this game, you come across guys you play against. You remember some of the guys that you played against. And then also at the same time, you just meet new friends along the way. And I was even telling Jay Bell a couple years ago when he was with the Pirates and I had first joined the Pirates. I actually played when I was in college. We played an exhibition game against the Diamondbacks, and he was on that Diamondback team. So I'd actually played against Jay Bell in an exhibition game way back when. So it's awesome, man. Every year you just keep building relationships, you meet new people, and then obviously from a coaching standpoint, you know, you get to see a lot of these players come up through their system, and hopefully they fulfill their dream, you know, playing in the major leagues. And some guys, you hope they make a career out of it. And that's the icing on the cake, is to see these guys move up a level, and then obviously to have this had, whether it's at the AA level or single A level, you know, to have a small part of it, it's pretty rewarding. I mean, it's not about me anymore.
Sure. You mentioned Strasburg, so I guess I gotta follow up on that. How'd you do? What's your memories of that game?
I was the only one that got the hit that game. No, I'm serious. He threw five innings shutout. I was the only one that got a hit. And the funny thing is, he probably, whether he realizes it or not, after I got the hit, he started picking me off at first base. I'm like, dude, I'm going to enjoy this more than I can steal in second. So, in fact, there was a guy last year at the Florida State League All-Star game that worked for Baseball America. He's like, hey, man, I remember you. He's like, I did the story on Strasburg the night that you got the hit. So he tried to find like a video of it. He went back to Baseball America and he couldn't find it. But I said, hey, I appreciate it. At least somebody remembers it. I mean, I'm going to remember it, but that's like my one small claim to fame. At least I was the one guy that got a hit off of Strasburg.
So what's your path into this now? I don't know if it's a second coaching career or the full-fledged coaching career. What's your path into it to where you've gotten now? Was there a contact made like, hey, I'm available as a coach now, or did somebody reach out to you?
No. So what I did was, when I knew I wasn't going to play anymore, I was deciding I wanted to go the coaching route, whether it's going to be coach collegially or coach professionally. But if I coach collegially, I was going to have to go back to get my degree, especially if I wanted to become a head coach. But I reached out to all 30 major league teams, wrote them an individual email. I had like a small resume because I didn't have this has been my job for 11 years as a player. Reached out to all 30 organizations. I heard back from about half of them within the week. Pittsburgh followed up again with that email about 2 weeks later, asking if I was still interested. I said absolutely. So then they had called me the next day with Larry Broadway, who's our farm director, and they hired me right on the spot, or the next day. Basically, after I'd interviewed, he called me back and said, we want to hire you. And I'm like, let's do it. So I signed on as a player coach with no intent to play, but just, you know, under the rules, because I think you only allow 3 coaches per se. I believe now things have opened up just because the need to have, I mean, you don't realize how much you need that 4th coach, whether from a position standpoint, but at least another body to throw BP, to help you in the cage, to hit fungos. I mean, there's so many things that come with having a 4th coach, but as a player, all you knew was 3: manager, pitching coach, and hitting coach. So it's physically, it's demanding, but that's why I try to keep in shape, just so I can keep throwing BP till my arm falls off, until hopefully if I ever have a son one day, I can throw to him BP too. But you know, I want to keep doing this as long as I can. I love the professional route. I'm not opposed to doing coaching, but again, I don't have my degree yet, so that's not even a thought right now. So you know, I'd love to coach in the major leagues one day. If it's in a Pittsburgh uniform, I'd be honored. Or any uniform is an honorable thing. But you know, I just got to stay the course and be where I'm at right now. And in time, God will open that door wherever that may be, and I'm going to leave it in His hands. And it's not up to me anymore. I'm just going to do the best I can wherever I may be.
Excellent. Have you made it or make it back to Reading at all?
We've actually played in Reading.
Okay. Any familiar faces there when you visit?
Yeah, there's familiar faces. Don't remember the names, I guess. The same clubhouse manager, at least on the visiting side, is still there. Mark, I forget his last name, but he's been there. And then, you know, Greg Legg is the manager, and I played. Legger was our hitting coach that year in Lakewood. Yep. You know, him with Mark Parent. Strenke's the pitching coach. So all those Phillies guys, you know, I still remember. Chris Truby, you know, he's the infield coordinator, and Manzel's now the field coordinator. You know, so and especially I get to see them a lot during spring training as well, because we play against them all the time. So there's always that pretty cool connection. And but yeah, it's just like I said, the revolving door of meeting new people. Meeting new people, let alone coming across people that you have run across in the past, whether as a player and now as a coach. It's pretty neat to see people still putting on the uniform.
I've heard from certain players on the Phillies side about, you know, I'll try to ask, is there a rivalry between the Yankees and the Phillies side because you guys played every level? They're like, yeah, but more so with the Pirates for some reason. They dislike the Pirates more. Do you ever get that?
I think maybe because I know from a pitching standpoint we pitch in, and I think we've hit guys not on purpose. You know, that's just part of our philosophy. So maybe that. But then, you know, the thing about with the Philly, I told our players. In fact, I just told our players the other day, we play against every Yankee and Philly affiliate, all the way to AAA.
Every level.
Every level, from rookie ball to short season, rookie ball to low A, everything, the whole nine. So, you start playing against the same guys, and it can kind of a friendly rivalry, just because you're like, okay, well, I know what this guy has done. We know them, they know us, so nothing is really new. Whereas you play a team that you don't really see, it's new, it's fun. You just go out there and you try to beat somebody's butt every night in, night out. You compete. But when you do play the same guys over time, it can be frustrating because maybe stuff like that, we're pitching in, or we might hit a guy, they might hit a guy. But it's good because you just want to see guys raise their level of competition and fight for everything, try to get a W at the end of the night, and giving it their all. I mean, versus like, okay, well, let's just get through these 3 games or 4-game series versus, okay, we got 4 games coming up against Reading. Let's see if we can take this series. Let's see if we can sweep them, however it may be.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. I favorite ask you. Can I take a picture with you?
Sure.
I want to send it to Greg in
Okay.
in Lakewood.